Kia ora and welcome to Sam's Take, a series about entertainment news and reviews, with me, Sam Raimi. Today we're jumping back into the Marvel Universe with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Directed by Sam Raimi, the film sees Benedict Cumberbatch's Dr. Stephen Strange trying to help young America Chavez, played by Xochitl Gomez, a teenager with the power to open portals across the multiverse. This power catches the attention of Wanda Maximoff, played by Olsen, who is dealing with the loss of her true love Vision, as well as her children, following the events of the Disney Plus series WandaVision. The title says it all. There is madness in every frame of this film, and we're into Marvel horror now, big time, which of course Raimi is known for. His use of silence and suspense is placed with pinpoint accuracy, like the conductor of an orchestra. Aspects of body horror, psycho thriller, slasher films, and good old-fashioned jump scares are sprinkled across the entire film for what turns out to be quite a terrifying ride, a big departure from the usual Marvel form. The storyline touches on one of the most beloved event comics, House of M. Released in 2005, the story follows the Avengers and the X-Men attempting to control Wanda and her reality-altering powers after she suffers a mental breakdown as a result of losing the children she created for herself. This doesn't go to plan, and Wanda creates a new reality where everyone has what they've always wanted. Spider-Man is a celebrity married to Gwen Stacy. X-Men Cyclops and Emma Frost are married. Doctor Strange is a psychologist. Carol Danvers is Captain Marvel, America's most beloved superhero. Steve Rogers is an aged veteran, and most importantly, Wanda has her children. Wanda's father, Magneto, also rules over all humans, with mutants as the superior race. The only person who remembers the original timeline is Wolverine, who then seeks out his fellow X-Men and Avengers to return the world to normal. In the end, Wanda sees her father's dictatorship-like rule as horrible and sees mutants as the problem, uttering the words, "No more mutants." This results in the world mainly returning to normal and the mutant population reducing from millions to mere hundreds. Now, of course, there's a lot there that isn't explored in this movie, but the main through line is Wanda's decline in mental health and her attempts to bring back her children. As a result, Wanda is full comic power Wanda, and Olsen is relishing it. Her performance is expertly played like a ticking time bomb. She is unhinged within her tragedy and given every opportunity to make the Scarlet Witch as menacing and horrifying as possible. Wanda's character arc is one of the most engaging of the entire MCU in my opinion. She's lost so much and it has driven her over the edge. Only now, she has the power to bring it all back. Cumberbatch continues that intense Doctor Strange from the comics like we got in Spider-Man No Way Home last year. The one who, while everyone else is obsessing over the events on Earth, he is in the corner scoffing at them because he is dealing with the events of every and any universe conceivable. Though in this film he does get the job again of de facto babysitter with America Chavez. I understand it gives a foil for his usually stern personality and allows development for him, but I kinda just want to see him go on a crazy multiverse hop using his sorcerer abilities. And we do get that to a degree, I just wanted more. Xochitl Gomez as America Chavez is great young energy, bringing in the wide-eyed, audience surrogate and levity that acts as a balm to the scary bits. But her character does serve as a bit of a MacGuffin, and she doesn't get a lot to do other than being an exposition machine. In the comics, she's been a member of numerous superhero teams, bunny hopping through different realities and different adventures. I am glad to see the character used because it's great for representation, and she is a good character, but it's just a shame she falls a bit short of the mark. I do have to mention the music by Danny Elfman. It is classic Elfman and adds so much to every scene. Speaking of, there's an innovative fight scene through the use of music that I'm sure will delight. Visually, the film is pretty intense. It's a full-on blockbuster romp that takes you through different realities and universes at such a hectic clip, like a haunted house ride, which is engaging and a feast for the eyes. The animation and CGI are just as psychedelic as the first film, though a little iffy at certain points. From a visual and comic fan perspective, it's mind-blowing, despite the characters only spending extensive time in a couple different realities, and the magical combat, for the most part, being just laser beams. But the one thing that surprised me was the story was kind of lacking. It's still quite self-contained, but nothing universe-shattering. It's sort of just, person wants to do a thing for good reason, but bad method. Nothing prolific. Not that it needs to be, there's nothing wrong with a romp with Doctor Strange and its pals that's tied up in a loose bow at the end. But it doesn't give much as to where Strange is going to go in the future, aside from a very rushed post-credit scene, which we'll get into. I guess it doesn't feel like the characters changed much from where they are at the beginning of the film to the end, before it gives you whiplash that seems out of pocket. The film struggles to find its emotional core amid the popcorn blockbuster action, despite having the richness of Wanda's arc. Summing up, this movie is insane. The deep cuts and references Marvel is pulling out of the bag lately are surreal. And yes, we get more cameos in this. They should be a complete hot mess, but they aren't. They're placed exactly where they need to be. And Marvel are leaning into new genres again like they did with Captain America, Winter Soldier and spy movies. We got a fully fledged Marvel horror/thriller film. The creative license Raimi seems to have had is immense and a great step for the future of the MCU. And again, it's a blast to watch and see all of these crazy, quirky comic books brought to life with confidence. The fan service is off the chain, akin to No Way Home, and the performances are all committed and engaging. The narrative just left me a bit unsatisfied and wanting there to be a bit more of an impact. I do stress, however, I still recommend the film since the narrative shortfall doesn't ruin it completely. It's still a great Marvel adventure and all the fun that goes with that, and I cannot say enough about Elizabeth Olsen's performance. It really is so powerful. Now, I'm going to touch on quite a few spoilers, so if you don't want to know anything about that, I'll see you in the next video. Okay, let's talk about the Illuminati, a group or council of superheroes from one of the alternate realities. It consists of Mordo, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, Maria Rambeau, played by Lashana Lynch, as a variant of Captain Marvel, Peggy Carter, played by Hayley Atwell as Captain Carter from the What If Disney Plus series, Professor Xavier with Patrick Stewart reprising his role from the original X-Men franchise, and two surprises, Black Bolt, played by Anson Mount from the 2017 Inhumans series, and John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic / Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four. These last two were decent surprises. Firstly, Mount's Black Bolt is from a widely loathed series, so that's a pretty big swing on Marvel's part. But he's a wonderful and interesting character, and they put him in the comic-accurate suit, which is a big win in my book. John Krasinski has been fan-cast as Reed Richards for many years, so was the next logical cameo after the two previous Spider-Men in No Way Home. Both cameos are just a huge kudos to Marvel for pushing all the right buttons to make fans' heads explode. The internet did all of the heavy lifting for Krasinski, but still insane. Now, in the comics, the Illuminati debuted in 2005 during what is an extremely formative time in Marvel Comics history. The roster consists of the biggest brains of the Marvel Universe. Tony Stark, Reed Richards, Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, Black Panther, Professor X and Namor, King of Atlantis, basically like Aquaman but more evil. They come together as Iron Man realizes that they all have brain power and skills that can stop cataclysmic events. He wishes to use this small but elite group to deal with threats in the future. Despite some apprehensiveness, all agree to more secret meetings, except for Black Panther, who sees the group as self-righteous, though he eventually joins in the end to keep them in check. The group decides to take action on multiple issues, such as jettisoning the Hulk into space for being too dangerous, and collecting the Infinity Stones to then distribute them among themselves so they won't be able to be collected by outside forces. More often than not, their solutions result in more problems. Now, one thought I had is this Reed Richards a variant of the one we will see in the Fantastic Four movie in development, or just fan service for this universe? Given that whenever we see a variant of a known character in this film, they look exactly like the one from the main universe, but with slight differences. Peggy Carter, Maria Rambeau, even Black Bolt from the Inhumans series, that leads to suggest that the Reed in the main universe will be Krasinski when that film comes out. This could be wrong given the different Loki variants in the Loki series, but Krasinski has been nigh demanded as Richards for years, so it would be a payoff that makes sense. It was also so great to see the full power of Black Bolt. Just let him off the leash to really show how powerful he is with little effort. Speaking of, showing off the scale of Wanda's power in her fight with the Illuminati was perfection. It was the exact thing needed to show how intense and serious of a threat she is. With regards to Wanda's fate and future at the end of the film, I really hope they haven't gotten rid of her. Given the fact she can literally alter reality, I'd say she's fine, as she is one of the biggest stars and drivers of the MCU right now. But also, who knows? Plus, Doctor Strange doesn't seem to be affected by her apparent death. He just sort of says see you later to America Chavez, like, bye, my colleague / friend who I kind of empathized with is dead, but that's fine. It's also revealed that Strange has been affected by his use of the Darkhold, giving him that lovely third eye. It's unclear as to what other effect this has on him, whether he gets enhanced power or just a funky forehead adornment. Though we do see Strange seemingly has full control over this new power in the first post-credit scene, which we'll get to. First, just quickly expanding on a couple of other things that got name-dropped. The key location of Mount Wundagore plays a decent part in the film, the place where the elder god / demon Chthon wrote the evil magic book The Darkhold. In the comics, Chthon marks an infant as a potential vessel for the future. That infant is Wanda Maximoff. He then comes out of his dimension to screw with things and eventually gets pushed back in. But basically, he's a dark magic Cthulhu-looking dude who tries to create chaos whenever he can. It's possible he might be a big player in the future, but given they kind of just brushed past him, I doubt it. Now for the post-credit scenes. The first features Charlize Theron as Claire, who is the Sorceress Supreme of the Dark Dimension and niece of Dormammu, the Dark Dimension villain from the first Doctor Strange film. She also ends up marrying Strange in the comics. In the scene, she appears to Doctor Strange through a portal and details that an incursion is happening. So then Strange whips out his cool new third eye and jumps into the portal with Claire to assumedly stop the incursion. Incursions are mentioned a few times in the film and come from an event comic called Secret Wars. There are two versions of the comic, one from the 80s and one from 2015. In the modern version, basically the Illuminati become aware of multiple realities beginning to collide and subsequently get destroyed. They see the only option of survival as throwing an antimatter bomb into the incoming universes to destroy them before collision. This is seen as mass murder and aborted, resulting in an incursion and causing Doctor Doom to pull as much of the main reality as he can into a land he rules over dubbed Battleworld. A few heroes are transported to Battleworld through the use of a lifeboat created by Mr. Fantastic, where they end up taking down Doom and restoring the universe. So is this scene the basis for the next Doctor Strange film or an Avengers film? And speaking of incursions and multiversal collapse, what about what happened at the end of the Loki series? I know this will eventually get revealed along with everything else, but they sure are making us wait. Oh, and the other post-credit scene is a callback gag. It's fine. So as I say, heaps of deep cuts and references in this film, really touching on a revered era of Marvel Comics. Thanks so much for watching and sticking through this pretty lengthy review, and I'll see you next time for more entertainment news and reviews.